Welcome to Rathalos Watch. Today, we will be going over 30 new gameplay details and other variety of changes that we've learned from the developers and content creators from playing the Gamescom playable demo of Monster Hunter Wilds. Make sure you stay for the very last one because it is a huge impactful change to the Monster Hunter franchise. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you love and want more Monster Hunter Wilds goodness. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Monster Hunter Wilds has a new mechanic where some specific monsters traverse in a pack together, or otherwise known as a herd. Doshaguma is one of those monsters, and the main objective requires you to hunt and slay the alpha Doshaguma. But in order to separate him from the pack, you can now use a new item called Large Dung Bomb. Yes, you throw a large piece of poop that explodes that has an ability to separate the pack, and now the hunter may focus on the alpha leader. Number 2. A new small crocodile-like monster was showcased for a demonstration on how the hunters can use their hook slinger from a distance by pressing the circle button on the DualSense controller to grab and rip out its tooth and use it as the new bleeding pod. This small lizard goes by the name of Gagios, and its tooth is called Sawhorn. You can use the bleeding pod on a monster's wound to deal massive damage. Also, are we potentially getting a new crocodile-like large monster at some point? Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. Number 3. Hunters can now retrieve traps. Yes, you heard that right. Have you ever had a moment where in previous games you'd place a pitfall or a shock trap only for the monster to either fly away right after you place it or just walk past it? I sure as hell did, and it really used to make me mad. In Monster Hunter Wilds, hunters can now finally retrieve a misplaced trap by pressing the circle button on the DualSense controller. This is a huge win in my opinion, and is a fantastic quality of life addition. Number 4. You can now end the quest early instead of having to wait 50 seconds by pressing down on your touchpad on a DualSense controller. This is amazing. As silly as this sounds, I don't know about you, but I'm personally tired of waiting for the quest to finish and having to wait forever to go to the next quest, even after I was done carving the monster. This will no longer be happening, and it's about time. Number 5. We finally got a peek at the questing board in Monster Hunter Wilds, and it seems that Chatacabra will be a 1-star monster, Doshaguma is a 2-star monster, along with Balahara, and Rathalos is a 3-star monster. The questing board also displays the monster's strength, which is signified by the purple bright squares. I'm not 100% sure what the new strength stat is, or what it actually means, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. The quest board also displays the bonus rewards that you will get, your usual time limit, time of day, and in which part of the locale the monster is roaming. Number 6. Mounted combat does return to Monster Hunter Wilds similarly to how it was in World, where you can jump on the monster and hop from one body part to another and stab it. This time, however, you will now be able to create wounds and then have the ability to close them as well while mounted. The animation for this is absolutely incredible, and each weapon has different animations, and the best part is that it deals a ton of damage. Number 7. The new UI for health and stamina is completely different than what I expected it originally to be. Instead of a regular straight green and yellow bars, we now have a sort of a wavelength style instead. I was quite surprised by this. It kind of reminded me of Resident Evil games. I love Resident Evil and I can't wait for Resident Evil 9, but I thought it was a tad weird for a Monster Hunter game. However, over time as I watched more and more footage, it just kind of grew on me and I didn't mind it. Perhaps it's a good way to modernize the UI a bit. I will say though, the sharpness icon is quite awesome and I really like it a lot. Number 8. NPC followers return to Monster Hunter Wilds from Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. You can get up to 3 additional support hunters to aid you in battle. In this Japanese demo example, we see the hunter and his followers stalking the weak and tired Doshaguma to his resting spot and getting ready to finish the poor thing off. The best part is that they will also plant a ton of explosive barrels with you for that big boom finish. Number 9. There is a quality of life change now when it comes to consuming potions. When you go to the radial dial menu for quick heal, the game will now choose the appropriate potion for the amount of health you are missing. Instead of manually using a mega potion or a regular potion, the game will now make sure to use the proper size potion based on how much health you lost. So if you were missing a small or large amount of health, you no longer have to worry about scrolling through your radial menu to select the correct potion. Number 10. Your Sacred has the ability to wall ride and traverse a variety of different platforms that you would normally be able to reach on foot. This is really cool as it allows you to get a vantage point that allows you to survey the land and look for your targeted monster for your hunting quest. Number 11. When monsters are about to do a big devastating attack, your health bar will start spazzing out and turn to a big red wavelength instead of staying at the usual green. This is a new visual indicator telling you to anticipate the big attack and start getting away from the monster and dodge out of the way before it hits you. You can see in the footage here from the Japanese content creator fighting Rathalos, who is about to perform a dangerous electric shock zap. This is a quality of life change, but I'm not sure if it's really necessary. I'm so used to learning the monsters and their patterns that I could probably get away without the need to look at my health bar. Perhaps this is something for new players. Regardless though, it was not something I expected Capcom to implement. Number 12, Monster Hunter Wilds introduces a brand new Temcenaron monster by the name Lala Barina, who happens to be a 6-legged spider hanging out in a Scarlet Forest locale. She is awesome looking, has white fluffy thorax, and a big red rose for her butt that starts to bloom when she enrages. She likes to dance around her spider webs like a ballerina, hence the name Lala Barina. And yes, I will do a dedicated visual design rating video for her soon, as well as Raydao. Number 13, it was confirmed that any character regardless of gender can now wear any armor. Basically, the gender lock on armor is now completely gone, so feel free to go absolutely wild with your fashion sets. Number 14, the village in the Windward Plains is called Kunafa, the Wind Song Village. Number 15, hunters will now have more control over luring monsters. There's a new item called Luring Pod, and when you use it, it puts up a red line on your character to show you which monster is aggroed and following you. This is great because now in multiplayer, you can have 2 hunters to lure 2 different monsters together to create a forced turf war. This is going to be amazing for certain strategies. I can't wait to mess around with this. Number 16. Not only do the new barrels look amazing, but you can now actually pick them up and put them in a new spot. Here in the Japanese footage, we see the hunter picking up a barrel and placing it near the sleeping Doshaguma. On top of that, you are now able to not only pick up a barrel, but also throw it and watch it go kaboom. This is absolutely amazing, and I did not even think about it. I'm so glad Capcom did this. Number 17. When you carve a monster, the hunter will no longer clip through the body. Instead, it will be a lot more realistic and, dare I say, cinematic. You will be able to get on top of the corpse and carve whatever you need. While this doesn't change the actual mechanic in any way, it is a very nice visual change that fulfills the immersion and realism. A very nice change indeed. Number 18. The map in Monster Hunter Wilds is now fully 3D, which makes the navigation a lot easier than in Monster Hunter World. There is a lot of verticality in both of these tiles, and the 3D will help you understand what is up and what is down. Number 19. Environmental traps return to Monster Hunter Wilds. Just like how in Monster Hunter World, you can use your slinger to drop down a giant boulder on top of the monster. The monster will then fall down for a few seconds, which will allow you to deal a good amount of damage. Number 20. Despite the game being seamless, it is still divided into areas with numbers similar to the old school Monster Hunter titles. Here we can see the base camp, Kunafa Windsong Village, Area 9 Lookout Hill, and Area 16 Northwest. You can use the fast travel mechanic in your fast travel list to get around quickly if you need to. In order to be able to fast travel to a regular area that is not a base camp or a main village, the hunter will be required to use a pop-out camp and place them at their desired location in order to be able to use it as fast traveling point. Number 21. The pop-out camps will allow you to also change your weapons, switch up your gear, and stock up on items if you faint. It will also be used as a respawning point, and last but not least, you can utilize it to also spawn in your support NPCs for hunts. Number 22. Dropping a giant boulder is not the only trap that you can pull off in Monster Hunter Wilds. In the presentation, we saw the hunter go up to the tree in Windward Plains and activate a vine trap that ended up trapping a Doshaguma once again. Number 23. Throughout Windward Plains, hunters can find great thunderbugs that can be used to zap monsters with their energy current to slow them and hinder their movements. This is a new environmental hazard. In this example, we see Doshaguma being lured to the great thunderbugs and then shock stunned for roughly 3 to 4 seconds, and it also seems to expose their wounds for focus attacks. It's worth noting that Raydao is the new apex predator of Windward Plains and is immune to the great thunderbugs, since he is a shock monster himself. Number 24. The game's world is completely seamless, meaning you can go from one locale to another without loading screens or some sort of menu hopping. To get to the Scarlet Forest, all you have to do is go through a river path in Windward Plains, and you will arrive at an entirely new locale. This unfortunately was not showcased at the demo because the demo only had the desert locale, but this was confirmed on the official website. Also, at the end of the demo, we saw the hunter jumping into what looks like some sort of an underground cavern before the footage faded out. It is believed that there is also an underground cavern system that Capcom has yet to show us in Windward Plains. Number 25. Doshaguma have a special trait that makes them reopen all of their wounds. So for example, if you are fighting one and you've created a lot of wounds already and then close them with focus attacks, it will reopen the wounds again once it gets angry, which allows you to take advantage of that to deal even more focus strikes. Doing this will make you deal an absolutely stupid amount of damage and make the hunt end quicker. Number 26. Dear violence and gore lovers, such as myself, the blood effect is indeed back to Monster Hunter Wilds, and you can find it in the options menu and turn it on and off as a toggle. This was one of my biggest worries about the game, as I dearly missed the blood effects from previous games. There was a toggle for it in Monster Hunter Rise, but there was no toggle for it in Monster Hunter World, which was a flagship title. Number 27. Palico carts are completely gone. That's right, no longer will the Palicos carry you on a cart when you faint. Instead, the Sacred will take you back, and the Palico will spill an extra large potion on you. This is a new animation and a new way of coming back to the hunt after fainting. While it doesn't have any changes to the actual gameplay, it's quite nice to see something fresh and new in terms of visual change after so many years of the same thing. Number 28. The quest reward window no longer pauses your game and just simply comes up as an overlay. You can just continue on the hunt and go after the next monster without wasting your time. Number 29. Supply items will now be delivered directly to you sacred, which means you no longer have to run back to the camp to get them and waste time. This is absolutely awesome because we can just simply enjoy the hunting itself without being interrupted. Number 30. The Windward Plains Inclemency, which is the Sentide, lasts for roughly about 10 minutes during the hunt. So if it starts, get ready to be in there for a long haul because 10 minutes is quite a decent amount of time for a hunt. Number 31, and here it is, last but not least. Set bonuses skills are back. You can now also have mixed sets, which can also have set bonuses if the used parts fit into a common theme. One such example is using armor pieces from 2 different Flying Wyverns, which will grant you Flying Wyvern set bonus skill. Weapons also have built-in armor skills as well. The very first set of base weapons line is called Hope. This is absolutely huge, guys. More stuff to theory craft and play around with for builds and your weapon loadouts. I absolutely cannot wait for this game. It is going to be glorious. This is already my game of the year for me for 2025. I do not care what anyone else says. And those are the 31 things that you've learned today about Monster Hunter Wilds. Thank you all for watching. Let me know which one was your favorite and why. Don't forget to also mention which ones you did not like and why you did not like them. Don't forget to like and subscribe with notifications turned on. Peace out and happy hunting.